Well, welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am your host, as always, Rasheed White. So I am recording this on Thanksgiving Day, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. All right, so let's get to the point over here. This is another Dreamers Pro reaction. Again, you wanted it want more Dreamers Pro reactions? You got it. All right, so again, he was doing a show over here about former partner of Scottie Pippen makes an absolutely ridiculous statement about Michael Jordan. So let's listen in to what Mr. Dreamers Pro actually has to say. Mr. Charleston from Fresh Prince of... he looks like Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man. I don't know, man. I just they look so much alike, man. There's like I can just keep getting that confused over here, man. All right, let's listen in.
Is unlike any other player has ever provided to a team. Now, some people say, well, how do you substantiate that? I can easily substantiate that, and I'll prove it this way. MJ, three-peated, with three-peated, which is one all-star teammate in Scottie Pippen. Just one. Now, if you go back to the last three-peat we had in the NBA, you're talking about Shaq and Kobe.
All right, so this is my point over here, because everybody thinks, excuse me, everybody actually thinks that, oh, it's just Scottie Pippen, and he had one all-star player, or Hall of Famer player, whatever. Let's go into TONI KUkOC over here, because I don't think a lot of people forget how good TONI KUkOC is. And you have to remember, just because you don't make an all-star team doesn't mean you're not an all-star caliber player. I mean, this guy knows nothing, and I'm telling you, nothing about basketball. So I don't know how he gets the listeners. I don't get why they listen to him, because he just... And again, I don't know what his show is all about. Is it about being a fanboy, which is actually fine, or is it about basketball analyzation? So let's look at some TONI KUkOC clips over here, because y'all guys gotta understand, man. This dude was ahead of his time back then. He was 6'10". He could shoot the three. Most of the big men at the 4 position could not guard the perimeter to actually save their lives. So he was a matchup nightmare. And if they wanted to go small and interchange him at the actual 5 position, they can do that and they will wreak havoc. Basketball is all about matchups. And that will actually force the other team, in a sense, to go small. So let's look at some KUkOC highlights. I mean, this is one unbelievable player who was ahead of their time. Look at that, 6'10", can run the floor. Ooh. I didn't know Steve Kerr was that athletic. He could run like that. Ooh. All right, so you understand what I'm saying right here? Patrick Ewing cannot move his feet laterally. Now, a lot of the bigs today, like JaVale McGee, Jaren Jackson Jr., they can today, because again, there's a difference in terms of the athletes today than it was back then. But this is what I'm talking about right here. This is a matchup problem right here. Bad defense by Patrick Ewing. He actually is an excellent passer too, man. You can actually run your offense through him at certain points. Look at that. High percentage passer, man. I mean, even a lot of NBA players today still kind of struggles with this. When and when not to actually release the basketball. Could put the ball on the floor. Good first step. Excellent passer. See, a lot of times the defense has to focus on TONI KUkOC. You know, especially when you have the bigs actually running back on defense here. So it gave MJ that wide open alley-oop right there. Damn. Ooh, look at the footwork. So yeah, you gotta understand, man. And this is why, like Charles Oakley today couldn't play in today's NBA. They made a lot of these big men back in the 90s and the 80s irrelevant in today's basketball because of how well these guys can actually space the floor, and also Toni Kukoc can actually put the ball on the floor there. Moves well without the basketball. Look at that outlet. You also got to remember, too, they had Ron Harper, too. Ron Harper was 6'6", 220 pounds. He was averaging 20.6 points a game when he was actually with the Clippers. And then when he came to the Bulls, he took a reduced role and actually basically was your point guard. So he was actually still a matchup nightmare. Most of the point guards back then were like 6'1", 6'2". Maybe 6'3", the most. Like John Stockton was 6'1", 6'2". So imagine him having to guard Ron Harper, who can average 20-something points a game. Yeah, I forget about this man, Toni Kukoc. Look at the passing. Oh my gosh. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, role players, like a diminished role player doesn't make... You can actually run your offense through Toni Kukoc. I mean, look at the passing that he's actually really making. Again, like NBA players today still struggle with these type of passes, knowing when and when not to release the basketball, knowing when to score, knowing when to pass. That was another example right there of a big. Where was it? Right here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of the big men back then could not move their feet. They could not slide their feet. That's why you had the actual throw them to the floor, like getting a layup and people throwing them knocking them out of the air because guys really couldn't move their feet back then. The bigs, I mean, like the fours and your fives, couldn't move their feet to actually stop a player like this, so they had to hard foul him. I think that was running. Again, Patrick Ewing again. See? They go small, and then Patrick Ewing actually has to get on the perimeter and actually guard him. So this is a problem right here, man. And mainly like Patrick Ewing could be unplayable. You may have to take him out and go small. But then he can actually still post up smaller players. Yeah, he was actually my favorite player on the Bulls, Toni Kukoc. Ooh, look at the pass. Bill Wennington with the pick and pop. Playing the passing lanes, being patient. Oh, look at that. It's like Ben Simmons of today. Just Ben Simmons is way more athletic. So Michael Jordan actually had a lot of spacing to work with. It's not Pippen. It's really Kukoc. He spreads the floor out. He was basically like your point guard, like your point forward back then. He could post up smaller players. He could work in the dunker spot. And I mean, he was nasty, man. Toni Kukoc was actually really, and especially like the 95-96 season, he was shooting almost 40% from three. And he can actually play defense too. He actually block shots. Passing from Toni Kukoc, man. Ooh. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, Toni Kukoc was really, really nasty. Stop listening to Mr. Dreamers Pro. He does not know what he's talking about. I keep saying this. I started this channel because I was sick and tired of mainstream sports media like Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright, guys who never really truly played basketball, never really hooped, never played in tournaments, never played in any type of AAU circuit, nothing, trying to tell you about basketball. Now, you don't need to really kind of play to really understand the game, but it gives you an extra sense of understanding when you can actually do play. You don't say stupid things like Charleston, Ben Simmons is trash, and then understanding that he hasn't played in a year and a half, and it's going to take time to get your timing back, your wind back, the cardio, everything. So I'll wrap this video up. Let me know what you actually think. I think Toni Kukoc was really the main component that provided the spacing for Michael Jordan to actually operate. If they didn't have Toni Kukoc, the floor would be actually strength down, and it would be hard for MJ and Scottie Pippen to really operate. But Toni Kukoc was a really, really true key component. And just because you don't make an all-star team and because you don't make the Hall of Fame doesn't mean that you're not a good player. I mean, LeBron took the 07 Cavs team to the finals. And I know you can say whatever you want, how the East was actually weak, but all you got to do is just take the ball out of LeBron's hands. As soon as he actually gets the ball up half court, blitz him, and then force one of your other non-productive players to actually beat you. All you got to do. They still couldn't even do that. That's how great he is. I've never seen MJ do that. He needed a squad behind him. And when he retired, Scottie Pippen led that team damn near to the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's just tell you, that team was stacked. You had Steve Kerr, Randy Brown was on there, Ron Harper was on there. I mean, it was a stacked team. And you can actually say, okay, well, it was almost like the Miami Heat team of LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. You had LeBron and D Wade as your MJ, Scottie Pippen, and then you had like Toni Kukoc as your Chris Bosh to actually space the floor. Spacing is everything in basketball. If you don't have spacing, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. It's going to be really, really, really hard. Just go ask Kevin Durant what happened to him in the Boston series when you don't have spacing. It's really kind of hard to navigate through that when you don't have the spacing. So yeah, Toni Kukoc, Steve Kerr, basketball is a team sport. I'm going to say it very slowly for Mr. Charleston. It's a team sport, a team sport, a team sport. It's not an individual sport. It's not one or two men that actually make it happen. You need good role players to actually do their job. And then also you have to have good role players that knows their roles and that's willing to actually accept their roles. Please stop listening to Dreamers Pro. He will lead you down a black hole where you'll never be able to actually escape it. It's disinformation. All right, if you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Certainly share the video, and when you share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Peace.